When I make the statement that no one gives a about the number 2 rings, it's not my opinion. That's history. It's shown. Right? Are y'all respecting Scottie Pippen for 6 rings like you do Michael Jordan? No. Right? You're not. Are you respecting Clay with his 4 rings? Did you put him in the top 75? No.
No one remembers All-Stars, okay? No one remembers all NBAs. No one remembers all defensive teams. No one remembers none of that shit. People remember champions.
An NBA championship has always been the greatest achievement a player can get, but that value of a ring on a player's career is still being debated today. And this is what makes ranking NBA players somewhat controversial. I mean, look what recently happened when Bleacher Report released their top 100 players. When that list dropped, fans lost their minds with certain rankings. Superstars with less rings got ranked better than superstars with more rings, which poses an important question. Should rings define career success? And that's the question we're going to be answering in today's video. But before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching my new basketball channel on YouTube, Mike Swish. The conversation about the value of a championship ring determining a player's greatness recently became a trending topic when LeBron brought it up on his Mind the Game podcast. Despite LeBron winning 4 rings, he believes that winning a ring is solely a team achievement. He mentions you need the right roster, coaching staff, health, and even a little bit of luck to win a championship, and that on an individual basis, not winning a ring shouldn't jeopardize a player's greatness.
Like trying to nitpick an individual because he was not able to win a team game or a team match or whatever the case may be. I don't know where it started. It's just it's a long conversation.
And as you can imagine, one of the most talented players the league has ever seen, Tracy McGrady, joined in on the conversation. If you didn't know, T-Mac was never able to win a championship despite how skilled he truly was. But when T-Mac heard what LeBron said, he agreed with him. He argued that he had the skills to win a ring, and he could have if he made better choices early on in his career. T-Mac went as far as to say that if he was put in the same position as Kobe in the early 2000s to be able to play with Shaq, he would have also won rings. And this is when the conversation starts to get a little bit heated amongst the fans. Because there was a time in the early 2000s when people were comparing the skills of T-Mac and Kobe. There was a debate amongst players and fans about who was better between the two.
Can you tell me exactly when Kobe had 3 rings and T-Mac was doing what T-Mac was doing, what were we saying again?
In that era, it was about 3 years where everybody was saying they didn't know who was better.
3 rings, they didn't know who was better.
It was just in that point in time.
They act like I was not there and I was not in the locker room and we was having these discussions and one was 3 rings.
Even though Kobe had 3 rings at the time of this debate, T-Mac believed, and as well as Shaq believed, that if T-Mac was replaced with Kobe, that T-Mac would have had the same amount of rings that Kobe got.
Replace me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Correct.
I felt like if I was put in that position to win a championship, I damn sure would show up and do what I do in the playoffs to elevate my team to that level.
You don't think I could have won 3 with T-Mac? I think I could have.
Yeah, for sure.
T-Mac was a bad boy.
But if we look at the argument that LeBron proposed from simply his stance, then a lot of people would call him a hypocrite, because if he believed what he believed so strongly, he would have never been interested in forming that super team in Miami. People will look at your actions and not just your words in cases like this. And yes, Stephen A. Smith called LeBron out on his stance.
If it didn't mean much, or should it mean much, well then, why were you so relieved to finally have one? Why did you depart Cleveland to go to Miami and join forces with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade to get one?
But I will say this, LeBron does have a point that fans do unfairly judge players' careers based on the amount of rings that they have. However, he knew the reality that if he never won multiple rings, they would never have put him in the GOAT debate. Rings reflect the ability to be able to rise to the occasion under the most intense pressure. When the playoffs start, the game changes. It slows down, harder defense, harder fouls, and every possession matters. These occasions often separate the good from the great players. players. Also, fans typically value championships rather than other stats. A good example of this is the recent Cavs team. They had the best regular season record and were absolutely destroying teams in the regular season. But once they got eliminated in the playoffs, no one cared about how good their regular season was. We have seen many legends in our game never win a championship, like Charles Barkley, Allen Iverson, Patrick Ewing, and Steve Nash. And then we have current players like Damian Lillard, Chris Paul, Westbrook, and James Harden, who sadly might end up in the same boat as those previous legends. But here's when things get interesting, because a player like Damian Lillard, who's up there in age now and just suffered a terrible leg injury, spent many good years of his career with Portland. Despite how bad they were at times, he was more interested in being loyal to a franchise. But on the flip side, while he's currently playing right now, he will get praised for being a loyal player. But 20 years from now, people will look at him and say he was never able to win a championship. They're going to forget that loyalty. But then you got a player like Durant, who before winning a ring with Golden State was already being considered one of the best scorers to ever play the game. And Durant spent many of his years in OKC, but for whatever reason, after he lost that playoff series versus the Warriors, he decided to join them, a team who won 73 games in the season and is considered the most winningest team in NBA history. When Durant won 2 rings over there, I don't think those rings really boosted his reputation as much as he thought it would. And this is an example of someone winning a ring that many people feel is weak, versus having a career like Damian Lillard and not winning, but the fans still have a lot of respect for you temporarily. I personally think that Durant's rings count the same, but I don't like what he did, and I don't think he needed to go to Golden State to win those rings, considering that, OKC was up 3-1 in the playoffs and they just simply blew the lead. But recently, when Bleacher Report dropped their top 100 player list, the ring culture conversation, I think, really hit that breaking point. Because when we talk about rings being the most important thing a player can achieve, then why is it that a player like Bill Russell, who won 11 rings in his career, isn't considered number 1? Is it more important regarding who you beat to win those rings? Or is it just the rings themselves? Do MVPs and final MVPs give the rings more meaning? For example, many people, including myself, did not feel that Curry should be ranked in a better location than Kobe, if we're talking about ring culture. If you didn't see, Curry was ranked the 10th best player and Kobe was ranked the 11th best player. This sparked a lot of controversy because Kobe has 5 rings and Curry has 4. Kobe has 1 MVP and 2 finals MVP, while Curry has 2 MVPs and 1 finals MVP. But here's where Kobe's resume starts to set himself apart from Curry, in my opinion. He has 15 All-NBA selections and Curry has 11. Kobe has 12 All-Defensive selections and Curry has 0. Now, I'm not saying that Curry isn't great. I would never say that. He's obviously one of the greats. But when we're comparing 2 great players who have multiple rings and multiple other accomplishments, I just don't understand, when we're talking about ring culture, how one player with less rings and less accomplishments is ranked better than someone who has more rings and more accomplishments. But maybe that's what Bleacher Report is really trying to do here, is that they're trying to somewhat move the player greatness conversation away solely from rings, and maybe they're trying to use other metrics to determine greatness. I think we should value winning a ring at the highest accomplishment still, but I think we should also look at players on an individual level like other sports and compare what else they were able to accomplish. Because NBA is unique in the way that we value rings compared to other sports.
It's just weird to me. It's like saying Peyton Manning can't be in the same room with Brady or Mahomes because he only has 1 ring. They don't never discuss that in their sport.
Right.
Or telling me that Dan Marino is not the greatest slinger of all time, or he can't be in the room with those guys because he didn't win a championship. They don't discuss those things, I don't know. Did Barry Bonds win a World Series? I don't think so.
I checked it.
Barry Bonds never won a World Series.
so.
And you can't sit here and tell me that he's not the greatest baseball player to ever touch a bat.
But what do you guys feel about this ring culture? Do you think that we should keep it the same and ignore the occasional contradictions? Or what about the Curry and Kobe debate? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.